Good morning and welcome to the second part of your iPad amplifier. Today we're going to design and prepare to cut the cover for our iPad amplifier. To begin, we have Inventor up. We're going to go to New in the ribbon bar, Standard IPT, and click Create. We're going to begin with a 2D sketch right here from the ribbon bar at the top, and we're going to place that on our XY plane. Right away we're going to click Front in the world cube up here in the right hand corner to zoom all, and I'm going to begin with my rectangle. I'm going to start at my origin. When I get my green dot, I'm going to click and stretch a rectangle up into the right hand quadrant. The width of this rectangle is going to be 3.5. Press the tab key on the keyboard, and my height of this rectangle is going to be 8. Press enter on the keyboard. Going to click front to zoom all. Next I'm going to take and finish sketch. I'm going to extrude. I want to extrude in direction 2. That keeps the sketch plane on the front. And the amount that I want to extrude is 1.875, which is 1 7/8 of an inch. Click OK. Go home. Okay, that's looking very good. Next we're going to take and place a 2D sketch on our front view. Click front to zoom all. I'm going to begin with a rectangle. I want to start on the outside edge of my workpiece. I'm going to click. The width of this rectangle is going to be the width of your iPad and your case. Okay, so when you take and you measure your iPad and case both together, that's the dimension you're going to type in here. Mine, when I measured it, is 3/4 of an inch or 0.75. You have to type in your dimension. Press the tab key, and then it's going to be 8 inches long. Press enter. Next, I'm going to dimension. I need to locate this on my part. So I'm going to dimension from the right hand side of this workpiece to the right hand side of the rectangle I just drew. Let's try that again. Dimension. Place your dimension, and this is going to be 1.63. Green check mark. Okay, that's looking good. Next I want to create a little rectangle again for my finger to access the home button. So I'm going to take and start on the front or the right side of my rectangle that I just drew, and I'm going to stretch out a rectangle that is 3/8 of an inch, 0.375. Press the tab key. By 3/4 of an inch, 0.75. Enter on the keyboard. Okay, that looks good. Some of these dimensions we're going to have to delete later in order to trim. Next I need to locate this so that it's evenly spaced from top to bottom. I want to dimension from the top of my workpiece to the top of this home button bar. This here is going to be 3.625, 3 5/8 of an inch. Green check mark. Just to double check, I'm going to dimension from the bottom of that rectangle to the bottom of my workpiece and see how those two dimensions match. So that means that I'm in the center. Press escape. Next I want to trim out some of the area that's in here. Let's take a look at doing that. I'm going to select my trim tool from the top. I'm going to trim this part out. I'm going to trim again. And I'm going to end up with this error menu that comes up because it's been dimensioned. Press cancel on that. And this is where we have to take and right click and delete, right click and delete these two dimensions for this little rectangle. Now we'll be able to trim it. Okay, that turned out really nice. Next I'm going to take and fillet these outside corners here. So I'm going to fillet. I'm going to leave my radius at 0.125. That looks good. I'm going to click my small rectangle and the upper leg of my large rectangle. I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. Click the small rectangle on the bottom and the lower leg of my large rectangle. And then close out my fillet window. That looks really good. Next, we're going to take Finish Sketch. We're going to extrude. Now it should automatically pick up this area, but if it doesn't, bring your mouse over to where your rectangles are. You're going to click when it highlights. Now we want this to cut, so I'm going to use my second button down here in the extrude menu. Make sure that that's going direction 2. This button's depressed. And I want to take and enter in a distance of 0.5, which is a 1/2 inch. And click OK. Now that we have our part drawn, we're going to go to the orange capital letter I. We're going to save as. We're going to bring this into our H drive. First initial, last name 000. And I'm going to call this and I don't want to forget to put my last name in the front. Okay, so I have my last name and then iPad 4 amplifier cover. Okay, or this is going to end up being your iPad Air amplifier cover. Then I'm going to take and click Save. Now that I have my part saved, I want to run my toolpath, so I'm going to come up to the top and I want to select my Cam tab. I first want to set up my part, so I'm going to click the Setup menu. Okay. First we want to work these menus from top to bottom and the tabs from left to right. So starting with the tab that's all the way on the left, I'm going to change my origin to Model Origin right here. And that brings it to the lower left hand corner. Next, I want to take in, enter in, instead of 2 inches for the height of my block, mine is going to be 1.875. And go to my Post Process tab. And here I'm going to enter in program name your last name and then iPad amplifier. That looks good, so let's click OK. Next, I want to go to my 2D milling area and I want to select 2D Pocket. Once again, when these menus come up, these get worked top to bottom and the tabs from left to right. So first they wanted me to select my tool. I'm going to go to my tool library. I'm going to come down to where it says Sample Tools Inch. And these are all the different mill bits I can use. I want to find the 1/4 inch flat end mill. And there's a bunch of them in here. There's 9 of them. I want you to select the bottom 1/4 inch flat, the last one in the list, 1/4 inch flat, and click Select. Moving to my next tab over, where I select my geometry, I want to come in and select the lower portion of this iPad amplifier cover area that we just extruded out. It should turn blue when you're done. Then I'm going to move over to the next tab where I establish my heights. I want to open up my clearance height. I want to change retract height. I want to change that to stock top. And I'm going to change the dimension to 0.2. I'm going to do the same thing with retract height. Make sure it's at stock top and 0.2. And feed height, I'm going to change to stock top and 0.2. Then I'm going to move across to my next tab, which is the multiple passes tab. I want to come down and I want to select multiple depths. And I want to change my maximum roughing step down to 0.25, which is a 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to come over to my linking parameters tab. I want to scroll down to where it says lead in. I want to deselect the lead in, uncheck it. I want to uncheck lead out. And for my entry style, the ramp, I want to change from helix to plunge. That looks good. I'm going to click OK. It's going to generate my toolpaths now, and you can see those by the lines represented there. Next, I want to take and click Simulate button up here in the upper left hand corner. And I can click play. Once it finishes, as you see it cut, then we are going to go up to the top where it says post-process. So once it runs, click post-process. And I want to change, it should automatically come up with 1 Butler MS Techno Easel. If it doesn't, click this area right here for the pull-down menu, and it should be the one all the way at the top of the list. Okay. Next, I want to have it go to my H drive, so I want to click, go to my H drive, which is first initial last name 000. Click open. So now that's going to my H drive. Program name, iPad amplifier cover. And click post. For my file name, I don't want to forget to have my last name in the front. Lammer's last name, iPad amplifier cover. This is going to my H drive, and I'm going to click save. This is the list of your M&G codes file editor. We're going to take in big X in the upper right hand corner, close this out. I'm going to minimize my inventor, and I'm going to go over to the computer that's connected to the CNC mill, and I'm going to click on CNC mill icon on the desktop. I'm going to go to Translate Execute. I'm going to go to my H drive, and I want to find Lammer's iPad amplifier cover. That's the NCD file, and click Open. Select OK, and now I want to preview. You are going to take and type the letters S and then F, and this is where you are going to stop, go get your teacher to come over, take a look at your screen, and then you're ready to cut your part. Congratulations, go get your teacher, you're ready to cut your part.